We are a team. As storytellers and dreamers,
there is always magic to discover.
Once upon a time,
a Las Vegas showgirl
and a comedian magician
figured out that even with different perspectives,
our adventures and experiences together
are really just
one big
caper.
Welcome back to One Big Caper. If you are joining us for the first time, this is an unscripted, kind of willy-nilly thing. We do have prompts with some of these things. This episode is special. Why is it special?
Because it's our first anniversary.
We have been doing this silliness for a year. Yeah.
This is episode 30.
Yeah, so there's plenty to catch up on. You will see mild improvements in the quality of this broadcast as budgetary boosts allow upgrades in audio quality and a custom, one-of-a-kind, hours and hours alone theme song.
Yeah.
That's lovely. That was big.
I love it.
A big turning point in the slow build of One Big Caper.
Do you remember which episode we released that? It was like in June, I think.
We did it quietly. We had different opening music for a while, and that was royalty-free, kind of available to a lot of people. You might hear it on another podcast's bit of music. And we were able to hire a musician in Spain to create the One Big Caper podcast theme music, and it met all of our requests. It was wonderful. One person, and I'm not sure I'm at liberty to say his name, but he created that music within a couple of days while he was making an album. It was a way for him to kind of take a break from the studio work he was doing for his album and create for us.
Huh.
Yeah.
And he had just gotten over some kind of sickness, I think, is what you had told me.
Well, yeah, this was
slightly delayed.
Right after, this is in Spain, mind you, but this was right after global events kind of started to calm down at the beginning of this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is 2022.
Yes.
We're talking.
So we're proud of that music, and we're pleased that we have some audio improvements. I hope you can tell for our friends who can hear. This podcast is available as both a podcast and a video cast, a video podcast. What do we call that? Video product on YouTube. So you can see our smiling faces if you do so choose.
And then our dramatic. Or my dramatic.
The eye rolling is kind of missing from the audio only version, I'm sure.
Eye rolls?
You can probably hear the eye rolls. They're kind of dramatic. They happen once in a while. So if you are just joining us, I suppose I will reintroduce us. We are both show folks. We spent our entire adult lives in show business. That is how we met. And we are a romantic couple, so this is about how we navigate life as show people and a couple.
Our adventures.
Capers. Well, there's only one.
One big one. Yeah. Yep.
How would you like to treat this episode? This is kind of a celebration. I didn't even dress for the occasion.
Why not? You knew what we were recording.
How embarrassing.
At least you shaved.
I did.
At least you shaved. So for my Showgirls Life podcast, I did a crazy to do where I did a live stream and I made a whole chart of stats, like how many times the podcast had been downloaded and number of guests I had. And I can't remember. There was like a whole infographic I made and a whole slideshow presentation I presented live in full showgirl costume. And I had a production team. Yep. I had Phelyx, and I don't remember what you were doing. Maybe you were just manning the Facebook. The youngest was manning the Facebook comments. The oldest was manning OBS, and you were doing something else. Maybe just
probably tech. I was on camera with you too. But...
No, you weren't.
Wasn't I for part of it? No. Oh.
He's thinking of a different live stream. No,
We've done a
anyway,
lot of silly projects. Actually, the global events really inspired a lot of
yeah,
these products or projects, because what else are you going to do when you're locked in a house together?
you're gonna do fun stuff, of course.
We
Hello.
always do.
So I did that for Showgirls Life, and I was like, what if we did a live recording in person? And Felix said,
I rained on that parade, citing the fact that Showgirls Life was treated to considerably more marketing efforts and thereby broadcast to a larger audience. And we have, at this time, a very intimate and small audience for whom we are grateful. So thank you
thank you.
for paying attention to us and playing with us and giving us prompts. This is something we hope becomes even more interactive, and we get to continue discussions in comment threads under the video, or you can email us, and we love to read that stuff.
Yeah. So he rained on my parade. And then I decided, since it's episode 30 and episode 20 was a pivotal moment episode, I figured we could do a big pivotal moment for episode 30 and the anniversary of One Big Caper.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think the last recorded pivotal moment that we have, you started. So I think it's my turn to start.
I think it is.
Do you have one?
I often make these things up on the spot. I don't make it up. It's all truthful. I just, I'm directed one way or another.
Okay. Maybe I should have talked with him about this first. Okay, so my pivotal moment, I chose mostly because of events that I've just been noticing of the year of 2022.
Okay.
And people's behavior and themes that I'm seeing with people I interact with daily or once. And so this one is kind of a downer. I think he poo-pooed this one for our last recording, but I decided that I'm going to make it happen.
So then it's up to me to lift things back up when you're
Yep,
done.
that's right.
Goody.
Okay, you ready? All right. So here's my pivotal moment. I have been married twice in my life, and we are not married. We are just committed partners. And this pivotal moment is about when I made the decision to separate from my last husband. It's not necessarily about the separation, more about what I learned from the separation that my pivotal moment is about. Okay. So that man is the father of my children. And I had this like cookie cutter perfect life that looked perfect on the outside. Like everyone was very shocked when we made announcements quietly that we were separating. And the point of all of this, gosh, I don't even know if I'm articulating this very well, but I was terrified to end that relationship because we'd been together for almost 10 years and I'd already been divorced once and it was really not fun. And this time there were children involved. So I was scared. Luckily, I was doing yoga, I was meditating, I had a therapist who was on board with all of my self-care practices and spiritual path. And I came to a realization one day that it's okay to make a change. Like it's okay to make a decision that affects so many people. It affected at least 3 of us, plus everyone in our circle. And we got through it. Now we're friends and we go with each other to our children's things. We have birthday parties and celebrations with each other, with our partners. And somehow we managed to unravel the life we built without too much problem. But the reason I bring that up is because I see a lot of people who are afraid of change like that, like afraid of, even if they are miserable, even if they can't even get out of bed in the morning because they don't want to live the life they're living and they've chosen and created for themselves, that they're actually like, you can do it. It's a mindset shift. It took, I think, a year of therapy for me to make the decision that it was pretty much inevitable the day that I walked into that first therapy session. So I've just been noticing a lot of people around me, they're really unhappy and they just stay. And I think that's old paradigm. Like you stay even if you are miserable. You know what I mean? And this doesn't even have to be a relationship. It could be a job, which I'm guilty of that one again, in a job I hate. And going to there every day it's like pulling teeth. But I'm just telling this in case you have a decision you need to make, or a change you need to make in your life, and that it's possible and you'll get through it and you'll come out stronger and more wise in the end. So that's my downer story.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're not going to believe this.
Uh-oh.
We have proven time and again that we share whatever you want to call it, a vibration or whatever. But my story is exactly on that point and exactly on the. And I was thinking about this yesterday, so it's not something that I'm riffing off of to arrive at. It's what I was thinking about even last night before I went to bed. I was like, okay, we have a pivotal moment to describe what was a big, major, pivotal moment, and uh, I want to now. There'll be an upside to this one, a little less heavy, but maybe in ways equally as heavy. I also was married twice. We share that, and my second one, after uh, therapy, after couples therapy, it became very evident to me that it was like a Talking Heads song. This is not my beautiful house. I was done.
Yeah.
And I spent, I think, about a year mourning the end of that relationship. But I realized that this was a relationship between two people who were both unhappy.
Yeah.
One of whom was especially miserable, but that was kind of a wedge, if you will. So by the time it came to make an announcement or begin the separation process or whatever, I had already gone through the process, the heavy like emotional process of reconciling that this was not going to work. This is done. It's irrecoverable. It's done. And I didn't have a whole lot of light. Athena and I were friends at this time. We did not start as a romantic couple, and there were a couple of things that Athena said to me that I think were very important, and I know they were very important. And one of those things was said to me before we even entertained the idea of being a romantic or realize that we had a connection like that. I was told by Athena that my happiness was nobody else's responsibility, and for that matter, I'm not responsible for anyone else's happiness. And you can file that wherever it fits for you, but as you consider that notion, it becomes deeper and deeper and deeper. And I realized that I was put in the position of the responsibility of someone else's happiness, and it made it easier for me to just keep that reconciliation that this was done and to leave, um, and to struggle however hard I had to get my own place, and I moved myself by myself, and if you knew how much stuff I have you would laugh at that, um, but it was done, and so I was grateful, um, and that may have contributed to how much I adore Athena. just that little bit of advice that I needed at the time. Um, but it's something that comes up in our conversations with each other all the time. It's something that we're trying to pass on to the children. It's very important.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to reinsert my eyelashes.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Whew.
Sorry.
Thanks a lot.
That was supposed to be kind of a happy thing.
It was supposed to be a happy thing that I'm not responsible for your happiness and you're not responsible for mine. Yeah. Oh, I love this caper that we're on. Jeez. Yeah, that's pretty much the point. Like for my story as well is that I came to the conclusion that I wasn't responsible for anyone else's happiness, just my own, and that's why I had to make the change because I was miserable. I was numb. I was not the light that I am today. I was not shining my light from within. It was being dampened day by day from living an expectation or an obligation. And I think that, we both have been through those big things. Anyone who's ever been divorced has been through that. And it's scary to think like I have to do this for whatever reasons. Sometimes it's worse. It's like a physical or a physical well-being situation where you're afraid for your life. I know a few people that have had that experience or are living that experience right now, which is really sad. But it's been striking me a lot in the last couple months. Like people don't realize that they actually have a choice. And that's what all of these pivotal moments that we're doing are about. It's about a choice we had to make. We had to make a choice. There was a fork in the road. And it was like the red pill or the blue pill. Which way are you going to go? And I think it's like, the Matrix. You either are going to stay asleep and unconscious and go further into unconsciousness, which is what I feared for myself, or you're going to wake up and you're going to live a more fulfilling life, even if the first of it is rocky and scary.
It can be scary for sure. It's not easy. It's, you certainly don't want somebody to get hurt, but the amount of damage that can be done by staying together can very often eclipse the amount of damage that can happen when you say this isn't working.
Right. Yeah. So
I think the divorce rate in this country is an indication that it's kind of an outdated concept that you are bound to somebody for the rest of your life. We've been together for several years, and it's kind of half joking, but there's some truth in the idea that we always say, okay, well, this is good for now. We'll see what happens.
Yep. And we take baby steps.
I think that kind of keeps us strong in some way. Maybe it is a notion that keeps us working on our relationship and
recommitting every day,
and understanding that we recommit every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. Is there more on this? There is more on this.
Oh, there's plenty more. We'll probably make an episode out of this, but those were ironically the same. We did not have any discussion that we were going to come up with the same story. But
he poo-pooed this, my particular pivotal moment, like the last recording or the recording before that. Because I didn't want to bring everyone down.
Well, I thought, okay, if this is number 30 and a celebration of having put together a year's worth of content, the podcast is about us, and I really felt like, okay, what's a pivotal moment in our us, and that was a big one.
It really was.
Yeah.
I mean, his was. Mine was more about you can change your life.
Yeah. By the way, he is still a big part of the children's lives. He's a part of our lives. He's a friend of mine. So be aware that can happen too.
Yeah. Yeah. We don't have to live by the toxic patriarchal standards that have been set forth.
Territory and
possession and competition
Yep.
and all of
That's
that. We don't have to
totally
live by that. We
unnecessary.
can choose to live with grace. And
Yep.
so that's what we choose, And the girls, they have friends who have recently found out parents are getting divorced, and I'm afraid for them because of the age they're at. They're teenagers, and
That can be very
it's a hard
difficult,
time.
but having a friend like your girls
Hmm.
is a great resource
Right.
because they are seeing modeled very healthy adult relationships,
Yeah.
and two of them, they kind of have two bonus grown-ups in their lives now, and so they can help that other
Yeah.
person kind of navigate that.
Yeah. It's true. I mean, we went to the show, the art show, and you introduced yourself as her bonus adult. You
Bonus
didn't say
grown-up.
bonus grown up.
Yeah.
Is that what you said? Bonus
Yeah.
grown up. They don't call him dad.
No,
They call him Felix. Like, I don't expect them to ever call
I'm
him
their
dad.
Felix. I would
Yeah.
say I'm your Felix.
Yeah. Yeah. Whatever that means.
Whatever that means.
But yeah, I mean, I thought that was a good thing to talk about since this is coming out on the 31st of 2022, and we get to start a new year tomorrow, a new calendar year. And like I said, if you have a change that has been knocking at your door, banging it down, knocking down the walls, it's okay. You can handle it. And so
Yeah,
I think
thanks
that's a good way to
for
end
spending
this.
time with us. We got a little heavy with this one, but it's been a fun year of creating these things, and we intend to continue. We definitely want your support and just get a hold of us. Reach us any old time at hello@onebigcaper.com.
And if you have any topics you want us to discuss, we have our first 6 months next year already mapped out, so we can always shift some stuff around.
Sure.
We'd love to hear what you would want to hear us talk about.
Yep, absolutely.
Thanks for listening and watching.
Thank you.
We can't keep doing this without you. Give us just a little bit of your time by subscribing, sharing, rating, or talking about One Big Caper with someone else. We truly appreciate your support.
We want to hear your stories. Visit onebigcaper.com to get to know us even more.
This episode of One Big Caper was published in 2022. All rights to broadcast in whole or in part are the property of Gazellus Productions, LLC.